Congratulations on your purchase of your new Sniper EFI conversion fuel tank. Let me take you step by step through the installation process now. The first thing you find when you open the box is a fuel tank specific to your application. We also include a set of straps, fuel level sending unit, fuel level float, mounting gaskets and hardware for the pump and sending unit, complete detailed instructions, the fuel pump module hanger, an in-tank fuel pump, filter sock, a rollover valve, and clamp and zip ties to mount the pump. The first step in installation is to measure the depth of your tank. Using a tape measure, measure the total depth of the fuel tank at the larger 2 1/4 inch opening. Take your reading at the top of the fuel tank surface. This tank has a depth of 6 1/4 inches. Write this measurement down. Next, you need to get a measurement of the pump height with the filter sock installed. Do this by firmly pressing down on the pump into the filter sock. Then take your tape measure and from a flat surface, measure to the top of the pump or the base of the nipple. We're right at 4 1/4 inches. That will be your pump height. Now subtract the pump height, which was 4 1/4 inches, from the total depth of your fuel tank, 6 1/4 inches. In our case, we come up with a 2-inch measurement. This 2 inches is measured from the base of the fuel sending unit onto the fuel sending tube. Place your mark at 2 inches. That's where we're going to make our cut. Make a clean cut using a pair of sharp hose cutters at the mark that you placed on the pickup tube. Using a heat gun will help you soften up the material so you can slide the fuel pump on easier. Install the included hose clamp. Remove the protective cap from the fuel pump and firmly press the pump onto the supply line till it's fully seated. Rotate the fuel pump now until it makes contact with your return line. Make a mark at the base of the fuel pump on your return line and cut a 45-degree angle on the return line itself. Now you can tighten the hose clamp on the supply tube and zip tie the return tube directly to the fuel pump housing itself. Go ahead and cut the excess off now. Don't forget to connect the power wires to your fuel pump before installation. Before you install your fuel pump module, make sure that the filter sock is indexed with any recesses that may be in the bottom of your fuel tank. Make sure and install the rubber gasket. Now you're ready to install the complete fuel pump module into the fuel tank. You'll have to line up the pump hanger with the gasket and the holes in the tank. Now go ahead and mount the fuel pump module to the fuel tank using the supplied hardware. Your fuel pump module installation is now complete. Now let's move on to installing our fuel level sending unit. When using a fuel tank with depths between 6 inches and 15 1/2 inches, the lower bracket is not needed. You'll have to remove the rheostat assembly, remove the lower bracket, and reinstall the rheostat onto the upper bracket. Begin by removing the 2 Phillips head screws that are holding the rheostat housing onto the lower mounting bracket. Retain these for later. You'll need them to remount it. Remove the other 2 Phillips screw heads that hold the 2 mounting brackets together. Slide the lower bracket off. Reinstall the rheostat housing onto the upper bracket and reinstall the mounting screws, but do not tighten. Now, using the 6 1/4 inch measurement we determined earlier by measuring the depth of the tank, divide that by 2, you come up with 3 1/8 inches. Add another 1/8 of an inch for the gasket thickness and measure from the base of the fuel sending unit to the center line of the rheostat pivot to 3 1/4 inches. Secure it and tighten your screw, and you've established your height. It may be necessary to remove a portion of the bracket below the rheostat if it interferes with the bottom of your tank. You'll have to remove the temporary shaft installed in the rheostat assembly and install the new float arm assembly. Lightly tighten the float arm retaining screw for now. Using the adjuster screw, slide the shaft up and down until your float level is approximately 1/8 of an inch below the tank level. Once you've gotten your correct height, make sure it swings through the motion completely, and mark the excess rod to show where you need to make your cut. Now go ahead and install the rubber gasket. And install the fuel level sender into your fuel tank. Line up the holes in the tank with your gasket and sending unit. Now install the included hardware and tighten. And you're complete. Now that we've got the fuel pump and the fuel level sending unit installed, all you need to do now is install the correct fittings that match up to your fuel supply and fuel return lines on your car. You'll also need to connect the wires for your fuel sending unit, as well as the positive and negative power for your fuel pump module. If your kit came with a rollover valve like ours did, you'll need to connect it to the tank vent and the fuel pump module vent using a length of hose and a T-connector. Remember, the rollover valve needs to be higher than the fuel filler level. All that's left now to do is install our new tank straps, as well as the coupler for our filler neck, and you're ready to install. Pay special attention as you raise the tank into position that you don't pinch any of your wires or collapse the vent hose as you're raising it up. Finish by tightening the tank straps to the manufacturer's recommended torque specs. Your installation of the Sniper conversion fuel tank is now complete. Thanks for watching. For more information on Sniper's conversion fuel tanks, visit our website at holley.com.